Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope that wherever you're at, you're having a wonderful day. Today, again, another Transformers review. This time, as you guys could see, another Legacy Evolution Transformers line figure. This time it's Twincast. Essentially, this is, for me, a different colored version of Blaster. I know this guy was pretty big in the Japanese cartoon continuity. I mainly actually got this to get a hold of Rewind because I have the original Blaster that came out during, I think, Kingdom, perhaps, if I'm remembering correctly. That one came with Eject. As far as I know, this may be the only way to get Rewind, if I'm correct. But I do like these Blaster mold. It's nice to get him in this twin cast iteration, and those colors. It looks really nice. So there's the awesome Legacy Evolution packaging. Here's the actual figure. I love the artwork here that they always include on the side. Here's again the whole lineup or the artwork that belongs with this Legacy line. Here's the actual toy in the back, and that's kind of gimmicky with the Evo Fusion thing where essentially you can attach the gun to his back. Yeah, not sure what that's about, but hey, it's a gimmick. It gets me the toy, so hey, why not? And there's the main guy, Rewind. So yeah, very excited to get this one open, add it to the collection, and give you guys my thoughts. Okay, guys, so got Twincast here out of the box along with Rewind. Pretty cool figure so far from what I've seen. You don't get much with this guy, but that's perfectly okay. So inside of this box, in addition to the figure, you do get your instructions. If you have Blaster, if you're familiar with Blaster, are all from the Kingdom line. This is pretty much the exact same figure. So if you're familiar with that transformation, pretty much the same thing. So you do get instructions. We'll move the box out of the way here and concentrate on one thing. So the weapon here is pretty much the exact same weapon that came with Blaster. Again, really nice, I guess, scope rifle. So it's really well done. Some nice detailing there. These weapons are pretty cool, both on Blaster and Twincast in this case. Now, let's start off with the little guy here. This is Rewind, and one of the main reasons as to why I decided to get this guy, I have Blaster that came with Eject. And as far as I know, I don't know if there's another way to get this guy. So I really wanted to have Rewind to go along with Eject and Blaster ultimately. Obviously, this is a really cool figure, so I really wanted that one as well. But for me, this is one of the driving or deciding factors to get this guy. There are some cons. Obviously, the clear plastic, just be really careful. I know clear plastic tends to sort of break or crack sometimes, so something to be on the lookout for. Other things, his forearms, obviously, this being a little like a small figure, you're not going to get a lot of detail, but like his fists are part of his forearms. It looks kind of funky. Again, the gray pieces are all clear plastic. I think detailing wise, they're really well done. The head as well. Some hollowness in the back here as far as the chest. That's where the head goes. And the legs, obviously, again, that's part of the transformation. But the little guy has some nice articulation. You can move his arms. You can do 90-degree bend at the elbows. The head can turn left. Well, the head can turn fully around. And if you wanted to, I guess you could make him look slightly up. But just keep in mind that that's part of the transformation. No waist articulation, but you can't lift his legs that much and sort of make him stand like that, or like a captain pose. But I am happy with this little guy. I just wish perhaps he would have been just a tad bit more detailed. But, I get it in this line and this scale. He is well done. So I'm happy with this guy. I'm happy to add him with Eject as well. Now, on to the bigger figure here, which is obviously Twincast. This guy, obviously, I'm familiar with Blaster. I am a little bit familiar with Twincast as far as he was in the Japanese show. He's technically, I guess, a revived or improved version of Blaster, along with, I guess it was a Sound Blaster, I believe, right? But this guy pretty much same thing. If you have Blaster from the Kingdom line, this is pretty much exactly what that is. There are some slight differences where, for example, here, that awesome face, he's smirking and he's kind of got one eye, at least on my copy, one eye looks bigger than the other. It almost makes him look like he's winking. And he's got this smirk on his face. The Blaster figure from Kingdom had, I guess, a bit more of a serious face. But other than that, the same detailing you got on that figure, you'll get here, which that figure was awesome. It's just mainly the color differences, right? You got the awesome yellow here, which you did also get on Blaster. But I think it goes really well here with this blue. It's very complimentary, I will say, to the figure here. You guys could see it. The red hands here kind of stand out a bit. Seems to be a bit garish. Almost reminds me of Spider-Man, just not done as well. The color combination anyway, the red and the blue. And then you obviously have white here on the legs with some black mixed in. Same articulation you would get on Blaster is also found here. I love the detailing here on the back. Blaster had the same thing. This is pretty cool here. And articulation wise, this guy is pretty freaking poseable. So you can pose him in different poses. You got your elbows, your shoulders, elbows. The hands obviously can't turn. You can, I guess, slightly fold them out, but that's part of the transformation. Legs, he can kick up 90 degree again. Awesome ankle articulation, so you can pose this guy different poses. The legs themselves, they can turn here, so you can turn them if you want to. That's part of the transformation as well. But he does have the torso. You can turn fully around if that's your thing. The head, he can look slightly up, but not too much, and then down. But you can turn the head fully around. But overall, I'm really happy with this guy. I think I'm going to display him in his boombox mode, right? His alt mode. As you guys can see here, the gimmick here of the opening door to put in the cassettes is same thing as Blaster, right? There's a cool button. You can actually see the spring right there. So you press this up and it opens, and you can fit the one cassette in there. But overall, happy with this robot mode. I mean, I think Twincast here, for me not being very familiar with the character, I'm really happy with the way he looks. As far as transformation from this guy, again, pretty similar to Blaster. Before we move on though, just a couple of little nitpicks on my end with this guy, and it was the same thing with Blaster, is the hollowness here on these hands. And I know that's, again, because due to part of the transformation. It bothers me a little, but not too much. I think when the figure is so well put together, and so poseable and so good looking, I'm always willing to overlook little things like this. But there is some hollowness here. Other than that, I think there's hollowness back here. But because I tend to display my figures facing forward, that's not that much of an issue for me. And it's black, so it kind of tends to get lost there. The hollowness anyway, so you don't notice it as much. But a pretty cool figure nonetheless. So now as far as transformation, as I said, we're going to start back here, open this panel, and then hide the head. Once that's done, you're kind of done there. Next thing would be the arms. So essentially, I just start off like this. I put them up and then turn them, just turn this section up this way. Take these hands with the pointy finger and then swing them out. And then essentially, you're then going to take this and fold it in, and then fold this down like that for now, so that it looks like that. You don't need to go through all the steps. As long as you make it look like this, then you should be good. But that's the way I do it. So essentially take this, turn it, fold the hand out so that it looks like that. And then you're going to do this, all right? And then both sections should look something like this. Next thing to do will be the legs. But before we do that, one thing is let's turn the whole waist around so that it looks like that at this point, right? Let's move this up for now. And next thing is to pay attention to the legs here. But essentially, we're going to fold these, the front of the feet in. We're going to push these in. I always find this really cool in Blaster. And turn these this way. Same thing here. I'm gonna turn those in. And then the next thing to do here would be the back of the legs here. So essentially, we're going to turn him around. You got these panels here, these blue panels that you can open. These are where the dials for the boombox are. That's pretty cool. And then there's this panel here, this extra panel that you move up. So essentially, open this up and boom. You're kind of pretty much done at that stage with this section here. So this is the one thing to do, keep in mind is you've got these tabs here for a reason. This black part, they are going to go into this into the arm section, this black part here. You see there's where's my thumb is at. There's a section for these tabs to fit in. So essentially you're doing some kind of play like this. And you're going to ensure that this tab fits into that section. All right, once it's in, then you're good. You want to make sure, obviously, that it's as straight as it possibly can. It's a little hard when you can't see it, but you'll get the hang of it. Usually the instructions want you to essentially tab these two in, so you could do it. You could do it this way. Just make sure they sort of are in there in place. And then this section here has two tabs here that are going to fit in, and you're going to fit that in, and you do that. So it's coming into play, guys. So the last thing to do is you'll notice this tab here where my thumb is at is going to go into here, and we're going to fold the leg in and essentially make sure it's all fit in place. Same thing here. You're going to make sure that that's in play and take that in. And at this point, you're almost done, almost there, right? There's a cool boombox. And I will say, I'm starting to like this more in boombox mode with this color than I did blaster, but they both look great. The last thing to do here is these handles, essentially on the legs. You're going to pull this up, and then essentially go this way so that they join up. And that is it. You are now in boombox mode with this guy. And for anyone like me, I did grow up in the 80s. I have seen plenty of these in real life. It was pretty ridiculous to see someone carrying one of these big things on their shoulder, or even smaller ones. Obviously, these used to play cassettes, and this is how you played music. These were the speakers. So there's the dials. So I love the detail that they've added there to make this look like a legit boombox. The back, some hollowness here, I guess, is part of the transformation. But again, I don't mind this. I think this figure is so great with the detailing and the way it looks, especially from the front. It's pretty legit. So very happy with this mode. Now, as far as our friend Rewind here, it's a pretty simple transformation. I do get a bit confused sometimes, but let's give it a go. Essentially, you are then going to take this head, turn him around, and then fold him into that open empty section. Next thing to do would be turning the arms. So they're going to be like this in robot mode. You're going to turn them this way and fold them in. Same thing here. You're going to turn them in, fold them in. And then the legs essentially are then going to go like that. All right, so you have to make them, just be really careful when you're handling this guy, because the last thing you want to do is break him. That's why it's on a bit of a bulging, because you do have to bend his legs slightly. So there we go. So once you get it in, that's pretty much it. Be very careful with the clear plastic not to start stressing out things too much. But in this mode, there you go. You got your cassette mode. Looks pretty cool with the gold there on the clear plastic. And he does fit in here. So if you press this to open it, you're going to take that in there and you're going to put it in so that it fits in place. And there you go. It's closed. You can't open it again to get him out. So it works. One of the things that they were advertising on the back of the box was his Evo Fusion, which is kind of hilarious. Essentially, his Evo Fusion is the fact that he can clip his gun um, on the back here. So you could do something like that and store it there. I guess it's meant to look like maybe an antenna. I know boom boxes or radios, had these long antennas you could pull out. So maybe it's meant to look like that. But yeah, that's probably a bit of a no for me. But overall, transformation, as you guys saw, same as Blaster. I found it very rewarding, fairly simple once you get the hang of it. And the fact that it legit looks apart like a boombox, definitely a plus. As far as the Twincast colors, definitely love the blue, along with this gray here and the red and the yellow here. I think it fits in really well. Awesome job again, I think, on the transformation in this guy. But this was a great toy to begin with when it was just Blaster. But really cool nonetheless. Okay, so as we close the video, we're going to do some quick comparisons like I always do towards the end. Before we start, here's a rewind that came with Twincast, and here is the Eject that came with Blaster. And again, it's so awesome to have these two together, finally. So that's really cool. Just want to show that off. And I will be displaying these two with my Blaster, which, speaking of, here are the two. So here's Blaster next to Twincast. Again, the yellow, it's the same there. Obviously, that's about the only thing color-wise that's the same. And probably the red here on the hips are probably the same here on the legs, the upper part of the legs. Other than that, it's a whole different color scheme. The other thing too, as I mentioned, is you will notice here Blaster on the right has a more of a serious face there versus Twincast here who's got a bit of a smirk. So there is that slight difference there. But other than that, other than the color, the details are pretty much all the same. Just in that nice blue color here with some additional details, but you guys could see them there together. Okay, guys, first comparison here is next to Soundwave. I guess that would be who would be his nemesis, but technically it should be Sound Blaster. I don't have a Sound Blaster figure. I'm not sure if they've come out with a Sound Blaster in this scale quite yet, or maybe I missed it, but that's the best I have. So there you see him next to Soundwave, and here he is with Rumble there. Rumble is slightly taller than Rewind here, so just something to keep in mind. These guys are smaller than Rumble there, but I think that works out really well. But that looks really cool. We'll move these guys out of the way. I think I've already shown you here Blaster, but why not? There's Blaster next to Twincast. Here he is next to Huffer, Bumblebee, and Cosmos. Again, it's awesome to be able to have all these different figures, different lines, Siege, Legacy, the Netflix series, or whatever it is, and sort of mix and match, and they fit in really well together. So we'll move these little guys out of the way. Who do we have here? Oh, you know what? Here is Redgar and Rodimus Prime. Again, Twincast there is pretty substantial size-wise, so he fits in really well, I think, with these guys. So if we move Redgar out of the way, we'll bring in the OG leader here, Optimus Prime. Again, that looks really cool. And Springer. Again, he fits in really well with this size. You guys could see him there. They look really cool there together. We'll move these guys out of the way and maybe throw in some last two. Here he is next to Cyclonus, again from the Kingdom line. And here he is next to G-Axis, G2 G-Axis, G2 Universe G-Axis, I believe is the official title for this guy. But again, he's around that same size. He looks really cool together, sort of fitting in that scale. But anyway, let me wrap up this video. If you love that blaster mold, this is more of the same. Of course, he comes with rewind, so now I get to have blaster here displayed in robot mode with rewind and eject, because that's what I will be doing, and maybe have Twincast in his boombox mode. But overall, really happy with the toy. Just want to sort of show him off for anyone out there that may be interested. He looks really cool. Blaster itself was an awesome figure, so of course I would think since nothing's changed much from the mold other than the color, that Twincast again would be an awesome figure. But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know if I missed anything, if you have any questions. But otherwise, thank you so much for spending your very valuable time with me. I certainly appreciate it. Maybe watch one of the other videos. But thank you so much again, and I will see you next time. Take care.